Hey everybody, how you doing? This video here I'm making about UFOs and some strange things I've seen in my life. I was abducted in 1975, and I got taken up to a spaceship and they probed me and all this other. No, I'm just lying. Ain't nobody. I've never seen a UFO. Um, I've I spent a long time in the military, and I was around fighter aircraft. That was my specialty. And I did all kinds of stuff, seen all kinds of stuff that was pretty wild, and unexplainable. A lot of high power stuff, that and it was just, that you couldn't believe your eyes, what you just saw, kind of thing. So anyway, I wanted to talk about this incident I had. This was in 1989, and I guess had to be summer, August or so. I'd just gotten out of the military. I'd been out maybe a couple of months or so, and anyway, I was working for a heavy equipment company and offshore stuff, oil field stuff, and anyway, I got off work Friday afternoon, evening, and we had a bunch of storms come through that night or that afternoon, and it was bad. I mean, it was Friday night, and my dog come in here to see me. So anyway, it was bad. It was just, I'm talking, it was Friday night, all day Saturday, all night Saturday, Sunday morning, and Sunday morning is when this incident happened that I'm going to tell you about. And it was just constant, nonstop lightning, thunderstorms, and just constantly just a boom and boom, 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 every couple minutes, 5 minutes. You're lucky if you get 5 minutes without, a big boom hitting around close to the house or something, And so anyway, I get up Sunday morning, probably 6 o'clock in the morning. Old farm boy, I get up early, So I probably got up about 6 a.m. And I just couldn't, got very little sleep over the whole weekend because of all this noise going on. And I went into our living room. Me and my wife had a house on Amelia Street in Gretna. That's just right outside of New Orleans. If anybody wants to know where that's at, So this is where it happened, and we were in this house, and like I said, it was just driving me out of my mind, just hearing this noise constantly. So I just had enough of it, and I went into the living room, turned the stereo on, put a tape in, before CDs, and put a tape in and everything, and just laid up against put my back up against the couch next to the stereo and everything, And I was looking straight across the living room at this picture window. It was right in front of me. And it had a Venetian blind on it, it wasn't closed all the way. It was cracked open a little bit so I could see out, and, it was just rain and thundering and lightning, and, I just turned the stereo on and just cranked this thing up where I couldn't hear any more lightning, try to give myself a break. Well, that was the wrong thing to do. And hopefully, you'll know better if this ever happens to you. So anyway, I'm sitting there on the floor and everything, and hadn't been there maybe 3 or 4 minutes at the most. And I'm sitting there just looking out, the picture window, and outside about probably 150 yards away was a telephone pole. And all of a sudden a lightning bolt hit it. And I could see it from where I was sitting that a lightning bolt hit it. And when it hit, as soon as it hit, the headphones burnt my ears. They burnt my ears, and I just, like I was sitting there relaxing. I had my eyes open. I was watching, and I seen the lightning bolt hit, and bam, boy, my ears started burning, and I just flipped those headphones off fast as I could, And so I'm still, I'm wondering, man, that's the first time that's ever happened to me. And so anyway, I'm sitting there, and split second after that happened, I see something coming out of the kitchen. Now I'm probably a good, I'd say 30 feet from the kitchen, and where this came out of the wall, it was I'm gonna call it ball lightning. I don't know. I've looked it up and read about it and stuff. It don't really match up to ball lightning in the way that I've heard seen other people's descriptions of it. So that's kind of why I'm making this video, trying to get somebody that knows more about it than I do. So anyway, I'm sitting there, and man, this thing catches my eye from the right hand side here, and it comes out of the wall in the kitchen, and there's like a half wall that separates the kitchen from the dining room, and then the living room. There's like a half wall between the kitchen and the dining room. This thing goes around that half wall. It actually goes around it, and it changes course. It doesn't go straight. It just, electricity's supposed to follow the path of least resistance, right? That's why you get all these goofy lines and stuff, But no, this thing was steering. That was the weird part about it. And it was probably in front of me for maybe a second and a half, I'd say. And I observed quite a few things about it. Anyway, it came out of that wall, passed right in front of me, and it's probably 20 feet between my back and where the picture window is. And this thing's about 3 feet away from the picture window, just going parallel down the wall, just coming parallel down the wall. And it goes down and into a 110 volt socket, another 110 volt socket next to the baseboard, and you think electricity follows the path of least resistance. Well, this thing, it passed up probably 510 watt or 110 volt light sockets in the house on its way past me and into the wall, and it didn't make any noise. It didn't crackle or didn't sizzle or nothing. It was just silent. I don't know. Maybe my ears were screwed up from getting burnt. Maybe there was noise and I didn't notice it. Maybe I was just, my ears were just ringing and I didn't notice it. Maybe, I don't know. So anyway, I noticed that. It didn't just go into another, it actually steered. It came into the house and it made a left-hand turn, not a sharp one, but a little bit of one. It probably went 5 foot, came around the corner and went back, and went straight down toward that wall socket, and then went down and into the wall socket. No sound. What really blows my mind about this whole thing is, now we're talking, what I saw was about the size of a basketball, and it was reddish orange, just burning. It looked like a ball of fire. It looked craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And it was a basketball size, and I still remember it. And what really got me about the whole thing was it passed right in front of me, within probably 10 feet, 12 feet of me, and I didn't feel any heat. When it passed in front of my face, I was eye level with it when it passed by that picture window going into the wall. I didn't feel no heat at all. And when it went into the wall, where it came out the wall. I went and looked at that plug, and I went and looked at the one it went into. There was no burn. There was no burn marks. It was plastic, a 110 cover. There was no burn marks or nothing. And that's odd. No heat. I mean, something that looked like it was on fire burning, but there's no heat. So I've seen a lot of videos and stuff of ball lightning, they call it, and you see it, it'll be coming out of a cloud or something, and then boom, it'll just go straight up, just faster than you can imagine. Well, ain't that the way the UFOs do all the time? People see them come out, they're just light. They just notice light. They don't see any mass to it or whatever, and they just all of a sudden it goes in an angle or it goes in a direction, and it goes so fast nothing possibly could go that fast, right? I mean, you couldn't accelerate that fast. It'd kill you if you accelerated that fast. Your body couldn't handle it. You'd be taking 50, 60 G's maybe, just to accelerate from 0 to hyper speed, Mach 6 or whatever these things running at, And I just, that's the whole thing about the UFOs and stuff. They acted a lot like this ball lightning. And I'm just wondering if a lot of these sightings, so-called things that people have seen in the air, might be related to these ball lightning because of just the way they moved, and the way that they acted and everything, just the way they could turn, the way they could accelerate, the way they could go vertical, just bam, like that, And I hope somebody responds to this video because I'd like to hear, if they had an experience or something with ball lightning before, because I've read stuff and I've watched videos and stuff about ball lightning, and every one of them I've seen, they weren't nothing like what I saw. I mean, everybody saw it. They saw this thing going, along the ground or something, just meandering around down by the ground, but not the one I saw. It had a purpose, and it knew where it was going, and I don't think there was anything to it. I don't think it was nothing but just light. I think it was just pure light. I don't know. It's kind of odd. I wish somebody could tell me what it is. I watched a video where a guy was talking about it being dust, electrified dust. That was a pretty stupid explanation for it. Especially if you've ever seen one. You would really think that. And he said it. Some people have reported them going into the ground and dissipating and what have you. Oh, great, whatever, This one was nothing like that. And that was about all I really observed of it, that it didn't make any noise and it wasn't no heat. And it definitely had a trajectory that it was following, So that's something to think about. And as far as the UFOs and stuff go, look, a lot of high-ranking people have put their careers and their families' well-being on the line to make out UFO reports. Now, for a military man to fill out a UFO report, that's pretty serious. So, you can write off probably, there's been over 500,000 of them written. Documented. There's been over 500,000. So you could say 250,000 of them saw something they couldn't explain, or it wasn't that big of a deal, or whatever, or they were nuts, or whatever. They've been drinking moonshine in the hills, or whatever, however you want to put it. Yeah, I agree with you. It's probably half of them are just people that just didn't know any better. But what about the other half? I mean, what about them? How could a high-ranking military officer flying an aircraft, say that he saw something like that, without it being the truth. I mean, why would he put his career on the line like that? I mean, I was in the military, and you could end your career. A fighter pilot, he can end his career with one mistake, just one. I remember we had a Marine Corps major, and he took off an airplane. We were at a base, and I think it was New Jersey or something. It was somewhere on the East Coast. I forget where. New York, New Jersey, something like that. We'd only been there a couple of weeks, and we were coming home. And anyway, this plane, when it started, it sheared off input shaft into the number 2 engine. So we had to order parts, get parts from home base and everything, get them flown in. So we were going to be there another 2 or 3 days fixing this jet. And messing around with this jet. They're going to have to be a group of us stay there to take care of this jet. Well, this ex-Marine guy, he was Air Force now, but he came out of the Marines. The guy was nuts. He comes out and he goes, well, I'll take it off, Everybody's like, nah, man, you can't do that, He goes, it's Saturday, who's going to see me? Or it's Sunday or something like that, Cocky, man, it's Saturday, Sunday, who's going to see me, man? So, okay, go ahead. And he did. He took it up. And his luck, there was another full bird colonel in the tower at the time that seen him take off. And he saw that plane with one afterburner lit go off the runway. And he's watching that plane. And he's about 2 or 3 miles out when the other engine finally lights, when he can air start it, the engine. And he automatically made a call to our home base, and an investigation and everything. Guy was fired. He was fired he got thrown out of the service for that, because it's something that you could do during war times, but you couldn't do it during peace times. That's what they said. And your eyes aren't playing tricks on you. I'm a freakishly large individual, so you see my hands or something. I mean, you might think my head's big. Look at my hands. But hey, it's the way God made me. So anyway, getting back to this UFO thing. Alright, it ain't UFO. It's ball lightning, but I mean, just the science of the thing. I mean, there's a reason why that a lot of these military projects are classified and black projects and stuff. I mean, it's good that they are. Because if you knew what our capabilities were in the military, you'd be haunted at night. You'd have nightmares. Matter of fact, and I've never really feared another man or nothing, because my size and everything. I mean, I'm 6'6". I wear a 16 shoe, and I've never had no trouble with confrontation with anybody. It's kind of funny to me that somebody would even try to confront me or something, or try to fight or something like that. But they do, and they lose. But anyway, I'm old now. I'll be 60 this year, and I'm getting old, and I'm wanting to hear somebody else's explanation of this ball lightning, a better explanation than what I've heard from the jokers that are on YouTube and what have you right now. They had instances of ball lightning. They referred to it back in the 14th, 15th century, where sailors saw it, and it would impact a ship. It would hit a ship, and there was records of it sinking ships. Okay. Well, what I saw wasn't nothing like that. I mean, I think it was just light. There was no substance really to the thing. And that's why I say that it could turn like it could You know, if you saw it outside and, you know, and it came down close to you and all of a sudden went up, you know, it could turn so fast because it's light. There's no mass to it. You know, it can go as fast as it wants to go. Okay. So I hope everybody's safe with this virus and everything. You know, I'm down here in the South in the epicenter of it, right here in Jefferson Parish, and I just hope everybody, you guys, stay safe, and we'll get through this thing, hopefully sooner than later. Anyway, everybody, enjoy. If you watch it, you don't have to subscribe or nothing like that. I don't make videos, and this is the first video I've made. I've probably made 5 videos in the past 20 years. You know, so you don't have to subscribe or none of that mess. I'm not looking for donations or nothing. So I'm just looking for some good comments. You guys be safe and take care of one another.